All right, welcome back to Triangle Talk on Nelson Sports Network. We got Trenton here again today, and we're going to do a round two preview for the NBA playoffs. We're going to kind of go over round one, talk about what happened in the series that we saw already, talk about where we were right on our predictions, where we were wrong, and then we'll get into round two and make our predictions again. Now that we know who's in, we'll kind of pick again all the way through to the championship. Make our final pick for who's going to win it all and stuff, but want to get into these round one games because, man, we had a really good round one, Trent. What did you think of that round one? That was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was crazy. A lot of crazy upsets that had not happened before in the NBA. It was one of them. A lot of teams up 3-1 and couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah. We had 2-3-1 comebacks in this round. That's absolutely wild, you guys. I mean, that's the first time that's ever happened in NBA history. It's rare to come back from 3-1. It really is, but to see it twice in the same round of the same year playoff, like that's just crazy. I couldn't believe it, man. It was wild to watch. I want to start off on the Eastern side, the Eastern Conference. So the first round matchup that we'll talk about first is the number one seed Detroit Pistons and the Orlando Magic, the 8th seed. This was kind of a weird series. Magic came out right away and kind of jumped up on them. They were 3-1. This is one of those 3-1 series. They stunned Detroit in game one. Detroit won game two, and then Detroit right away won game 3 and 4. And it was kind of looking like, man, like Orlando got healthy and they got good really fast. Because let's not forget, you guys, this team was hurt a lot this year. So I didn't think they would be an 8 seed. Like going back to the beginning of the season, I thought this was like a 3 or 4 seed in the East, but they dealt with a lot of injuries. They kind of got lucky just to get into the play-in. They lost to the 76ers in the play-in, and then they ended up in the 8 seed game and won that to get that 8 seed. But they got healthy. They jumped out to a 3-1 lead, and then Franz Wagner got hurt.
Yeah,
and I think that kind of sealed the deal with Orlando. I think once he went down again, I believe it was a calf injury.
I believe so.
Yeah, right calf strain.
Right.
So he missed games 5, 6, and 7, and that I think that just really destroyed him, man. That it was hard for them to keep up with the Pistons at that point, but this was a crazy series.
Yeah, well, it was just one of those things that they didn't have the gumption to finish the Pistons. I mean, 3-1, you should be able to find a way to make it happen.
Right.
I feel like it was just one of those. Another injury just deflated the entire locker room, and at that point, they just, all right, let's pack our bags and go to Cancun. I mean, without actually doing that and quitting on the series, it just felt like they had kind of became a shell of themselves, and they allowed the Pistons to get ahead of steam that was just unstoppable. I mean, this Pistons team has been number one all season long for a reason, right? So
right.
You don't give them an inch because then they'll take a mile, and that's exactly what ended up happening. Was once the Pistons got that belief in game 5, they win that one, and it's okay. Now it's 3-2, and now we can push it. We can keep going. And next thing you know, game 7, they're winning it and walking away as the champions of that series.
Yeah, I think the game 6 was really like the tipping point in this series when the Magic went on that historical cold streak. It just looked to me like they were just deflated at that point. And they just knew, like, hey, we've ran our course here. Cunningham was a beast in that game, man. He had like 32 points, 10 rebounds, I think 4 steals, 2 blocks. Like, he was just playing out of his mind, man.
Well, that historic cold streak happens when they're having a super hot streak at the same time.
Exactly.
Like both of them just kind of passed each other at the same time.
Yeah, it was hard to. It was kind of hard to watch because, you thought like Orlando, like, man, they're going to upset them. The 8 seed's going to get the 1 seed out of here right away. They go on that cold streak and they're just like, oh, it's over. It's kind of a big milestone for the Pistons, though, dude. This is the first time they've advanced to the Eastern Conference Semifinals since 2008. It's crazy to think that it's been that long that Detroit's been out of the kind of the playoff picture, because Detroit, when growing up, I remember when Detroit was always like super good. They were always like incredibly good on defense, and
the bad boys, man.
Yeah,
bad boy Pistons were a thing. They were always in the playoffs, always causing some sort of havoc. So,
well, yeah, and the Bad Boys 2.0 and Ben Wallace and Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Rasheed Wallace, like those were some really, really good teams, and it's just crazy to think it's been that long, man. But yeah, 2008. That's the last time they moved on. So, good for the Pistons, for the Pistons. I think they're gonna have a pretty good matchup in the second round. So we'll see how that goes. But the next one is the Boston Celtics, the 2 seed versus the 7 seed 76ers. This one was the other 3-1 comeback. This one was wild, man. Biggest upset of the first round, I think by far. I mean, it's got to be. It's the 2 seed and the 7 seed, right? But
well, I mean, everyone had the Celtics going to the finals, so
yeah,
it was one of those super upsets. I mean, you're up 3-1. You figure they're going to find a way to get this thing done, and then they just could not find themselves. And then the 76ers. I mean, we were talking, off the pod, whereas, man, Joel Embiid, really, he's coming back to this team. They don't really have an identity. They don't know how to jive together, and they made it click quick.
Yeah.
They came together really fast, and they figured out their kind of brand of basketball, and they took the Celtics out of this. They said, it's our game to lose. It's our series to lose at this point. We don't care that we're down 1-3 right now. We're going to come back and beat you 3 games in a row. And sure enough, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, well, I was kind of wondering what it was gonna look like, because the first game that Joel Embiid played in, it looked like they were trying to run the offense through him, and it just didn't look like it was working at all. And it's like, oh man, this is gonna get ugly, because they're really forcing everything to go through Embiid, and it's just not working. And then, yeah, like you said, they made it click. Almost immediately, and he just played lights out, man. He played like a monster in that series. But so did Tyrese Maxey. I mean, Maxey is a superstar. In my opinion, Maxey is a legit superstar. And I think VJ Edgecombe, that kid's a rookie, and he did not look like a rookie at all in this series. He had zero fear. He played awesome. I think Maxey and Edgecombe are going to be a real problem for the league going forward, especially getting this kind of experience now, moving on to the second round. It's going to be really, really fun to watch those two play. This one was a great series, you guys. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. In game 7, Maxey had 30 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. And then Joel Embiid had 34 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists. That's crazy. If I remember correctly, and I could be wrong here, but I remember there was a stat they showed on right after the game, and it was saying that they're the first teammate duo to have 30 plus points, 10 plus rebounds, and 5 plus assists in the same game 7 of a series. So that's crazy, man. Just, they played awesome basketball.
Yeah, it's when they needed it the most, they came out to shine, and that's exactly what they did. And I mean, you're going into the Garden over there. You have to put your best foot forward, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah. And then, it was kind of unfortunate that Jason Tatum had the knee injury. They're saying it's not, like a serious injury, but it was enough to keep him out of game 7, which I do think that would have changed this series a lot if he would have played. But that's part of the game, man. Injuries happen. Guys get hurt. They've got to sit out a game or 2 or a couple weeks even. So, you can't blame it on that. It's part of the game. Jaylen Brown, though, after the game and after the series, he kind of called Joel Embiid out for flopping and called the refs out and stuff. And I thought it was kind of a bad look on Jaylen Brown. I've always really respected Jaylen Brown. He's always kind of been like one of those quieter superstars in the league, but I don't know if it was just kind of the heat of the moment thing or what, because it seemed kind of out of character for him to do something like that. But I'm kind of interested to see what happens going forward because of that. I just thought it was kind of weird, not the right time for it. Let it sit for a little bit. Don't go right onto social media. These guys forget they've got a huge following on social media, so when they say something, it gets out there really fast. People hear about it. And then the Embiid thing was funny too, with him telling all the Philly fans, don't sell your tickets to Knicks fans. We need you guys here. You guys are the reason we can do this. So I thought that was kind of cool of him. Even at one point in that interview, he's like, if you need the money that bad, I got you. Don't worry about it. It's like, hey man, he's really wanting to move on and do something serious here,
Yeah, definitely. It's to the point where the Sixers, I think they're a year earlier than where they should have been. I didn't really see them going past the Celtics in this one. They're playing with house money now, and they're a dangerous team. They are a dangerous team. I mean, once we get to our picks, I mean, I think they have a chance to upset a few cats in this run here. I mean, these kind of things that happen like this, where you go from you're supposed to not even be close to sniffing this, and then like you said, the Brown situation, that just feels more or less like he's upset because this is the second year they're not going deep in the playoffs after winning a championship, right? And then you had injuries last year, and then this year, we finally get everyone healthy. We're supposed to be the guys, and we're not. And then it just kind of it goes to the fact of either he didn't want to take responsibility on himself and the team for not playing very well, or two, you're just trying to find something to blame right in that moment. You're pissed off, you're angry, and I got to blame it on something, so I'm going to blame it on he's flopping, he got extra points because the refs called that. I mean, this is not the only series that you had somebody trying to point out refs afterwards or even in the middle of and just made themselves look really silly and goofy because you played a really hard-fought series against these guys. You had every chance to win, and you still don't go through and win. Right. I mean, you could say all you want that the refs are giving you points, but the refs aren't winning the game by 30 points a game. They're not winning by 20 points. That's you. You guys are either winning or losing by that kind of margin, and you guys just didn't play the best basketball you should have during that period of time. So don't blame anyone else. Look in the mirror, reflect on it, and go, okay, we need to be better next year.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of those things where you've just got to kind of, take a moment, sit back, take a couple days before you even get on social media again and just kind of let it settle. You'll probably feel different about it if you let it settle. The next one is the New York Knicks. They were the 3 seed and the Atlanta Hawks were the 6 seed.
This one was an ugly series. I thought it was going to be like the matchup, Yeah. I thought the Hawks could handle this a little bit better. This one got ugly, and it got ugly in a hurry. Yeah, I was wrong on this one. I said it was going to be an upset. I thought the Hawks were going to end up upsetting them. I said it was going to be the series to watch on the East side. I was wrong, man. A couple of the games were entertaining. I will say a couple of them were, but New York, it did go to 6 games. They won 4-2, but the wins were pretty ugly, man, especially that last one. Well, I mean, you're talking about a Hawks team that we thought their defenses were going to show out a lot harder than they did. I mean, right. This team, I thought their defense could hang with anybody. I figured they would make a push. If they ended up winning this series, I figured it was going to be, hey, these guys could really defensively match up against everyone very well. This would be a hard team to get out no matter what you did. And they just did not play defensive ball at all. I mean, how do you, in your own home, for a game 6, and if you lose, you're done, lose by 52 points? That's like the second worst playoff loss in NBA history, I mean, the first one was 58 points, so you're not very far off from that. And like I said, the first one that was 58 points, it wasn't even a series ender. This one's a series ender. You have to give your all for it. This is where you should be making the extra sellout call. You should be doing whatever you have to, the extra dive, I don't care. I'm going to put my body on the line to make sure this thing goes, and you lose by 52 points. That's just deflating. That destroys the locker room. Yeah, it does. And like you said, I kind of thought this Atlanta team, I thought they had the defense that they would be able to take down like a Boston or someone, but man, they just didn't show up at the right times at all. It was pretty ugly. I was also wrong on the Boston series. I did think that the 76ers were going to be kind of overpowered by that Celtics team, but they proved me wrong, man. This one I was wrong as well. It just looked like they got outclassed. I don't know if it was outcoached or out talented. It looked more to me just outclassed. Like they just didn't belong there yet. You know what I mean? Like maybe they got into the playoffs a year earlier than they should have. This is the Knicks team that, they've been nipping on the hills. Oh yeah, of success, of greatness. And New York, I mean, everyone keeps talking about it. This year is kind of a win it all or it's a bust. Nobody cares about anything in between. We have to go and make the push. So it kind of felt like you said, where Atlanta got here, they had a really good defense. I don't think they were really ready for the moment. They didn't know the lessons that they needed to learn. Right. So I think them losing in these fashions is going to help. But that Knicks team has lost multiple heartbreakers. They keep missing the big dance by a series or two. So this is a definite, you have to win it. You have to win this. And that's exactly what New York did. They put them away in dramatic fashion. They just absolutely showed them, okay, yeah, we let you have your 2 wins against us. Now it's time that we're going to show you. It's like the arm wrestling match, where you keep playing around, almost make them think that they got you, and then you just pin them.
Yep.
You're just playing with your food, and that's kind of what this Knicks team felt like to me. Is they just kept playing with them, and then, all right, you've had your fun. We're done.
Yeah, we're done now. We're gonna finish this off. I thought Karl Anthony Towns played absolutely awesome. OG Anunoby had a really good series as well. His defense is just awesome. Brunson played really good too. I said in the last one, I feel like Brunson's kind of a defensive liability, and I still kind of feel that way. But I think if you've got Anthony Towns and Anunoby playing the way they are, I think Brunson's going to be able to really do something serious, with his scoring ability. So, at this point, the Knicks kind of look like the most consistent and established team left on the East side. A lot of other teams have a lot of question marks, like the 76ers are a young team. The Pistons are a young team. Even, and we'll get into the series next, but even like the Cavaliers, like they're a pretty young team, kind of inexperienced, so it's like this Knicks team really looks like they're kind of the front runners at this point. But, let's move on to that next series. So the number 4 Cleveland Cavaliers and the number 5 Toronto Raptors. This one went to a game seven as well. We had 3 of these series went to game 7s. That's crazy, man. The only one that didn't went to a game 6. So
and that's all on the East right there.
Yeah, that's just the East. We haven't even gotten into the West. So this was a grinded out, down to the wire. Every game was good. I really thought this series was the funnest one to watch. I just because like every game just felt like, man, anyone could win this thing still.
Well, that's the way they played. It was just a lot of back and forth. You had to watch this to the very, very end because it was one team would get up just barely, and then the other team would flip it around, and you just had a lot of runs where it went back and forth, and they really kind of stayed within that 5-point range until it got time to put the game away. And even then, you're talking about really tight-knit games the entire series, and you thought maybe the experience of James Harden coming over there would help this Celtics team, but
Cavs team.
Yeah, sorry. The Cavaliers would help this Cavaliers team because they made it really far last year. They have a really young nucleus, and you figure that's exactly why you would go after Harden, is to pick up this guy, get your young guys a little bit more veteran leadership, and it just looked like they struggled. I don't know why they struggled so hard against Toronto this series, where you kind of felt like they were the better team. Maybe this thing would have gone to 6, maybe. But this Raptors team really just would not go down without a fight. They kept clawing their way back. They kept pushing the envelope. I mean, you're talking about a game 6 ender that felt exactly like the claw triple bounce over there. Where just, what the heck just happened? Is this really going to happen again?
Oh yeah, he hit the heel of the rim, and it was like the Kawhi Leonard one, or even like Tyrese Halliburton the year before, when he hit that game winner. Just really exciting games, man. I thought Scotty Barnes really played awesome. He had 25 points, 14 assists in game 6. That kid is really, really good. I think the Raptors have a really good team that they're putting together here, and I think they're going to be a really solid team in the East going forward, but this just wasn't their year. Cleveland, I said at the trade deadline when we did our trade deadline episode that I really thought that James Harden trade was going to be a really good deal for Cleveland, and so far it's working. They're into the second round now. Donovan Mitchell's played awesome. He's never made it past the second round in his career, so I think this is the year he's really going to push this team and try to get over that hump. So that was a really fun series. I really liked that one. Let's jump over to the West real quick. Finish up with this first round recap. So we had the number 1 seed, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the number 8 seed Phoenix Suns. This one, not a lot to talk about here. It was a 4-0 sweep. The defending champs looked like the defending champs, man. They looked totally dominant in this series. They set the tone immediately in game 1, blew them out. Shai is the front runner for the MVP for a reason, man. He is such a great player. He's just building like a Hall of Fame resume while he's doing this, and this one just kind of felt like Phoenix never really had a chance. I'm not going to lie to you. What did you think?
I felt the exact same way, and it got to the point where Booker's out there calling out the refs, and you do that when you know you don't have a prayer. When you're going at the refs in the middle of a series, it's because you're just trying to grasp at straws to get some sort of motivation to your team, or at least in your mind make up the reason why are we losing this? Why is the series not going our way? And that's exactly what this felt like. Is he was just grasping at straws of, all right, we're playing our best basketball and we're still getting blown out by 20 to 30 points a night. This is not fun.
Yeah, I think as a player, like I'll admit the reffing was pretty bad in some of those games. It was. But as a player, I think you do have to just kind of like try to bite your tongue for the time being. You know, after it's all said and done, maybe then kind of, you know, call it out or something and say something about it. But in the heat of the moment, it just, again, like the Jaylen Brown thing, like in the heat of the moment, it's like, man, like, I think it's better as a player to just bite your tongue, walk away from it. And then, you know, once it's all said and done, then you can have your take. I mean, everyone's got their own opinion. So I don't disregard these guys' opinions by any means. And when it does get bad, something does have to be said, because let's not kid ourselves. The NBA does have a history of some bad reffing going on in the past. So it is something that you have to look at and consider. But I do think it's the wrong time to do it. In the middle of a series when you're trying to win, like, it's just not the right time to do it. You know? But it did. From game one, it just felt like they don't have a chance. You know, this Oklahoma City Thunder team is on the brink of being a dynasty. If they go and repeat again this year, I think it's time to start talking about a dynasty here. Let's jump down to the 2 seed and the 7 seed. So we had the San Antonio Spurs were the 2 seed. Portland Trailblazers were the 7 seed. And this one was a 4-1 series. San Antonio won, but it didn't feel like it. Yeah. I felt like the Trailblazers really gave them a lot of heat in this one. They really pushed them in all the games.
Serious fits, but San Antonio kept finding ways to win. And I mean, really the biggest difference it felt like for me in this was one team had Wemby and the other didn't.
Yes, exactly. And even, you know, the game that Wemby went out and the game that he missed, like, it still felt like, man, like they're really, really pushing them here. Like, you know, Wemby's out, so I expected a little better, but then he came back and they were still pushing them right to the end of the game. It's like, man, this Trailblazers team is, I think, a little underrated. You know, people aren't really looking at this team seriously, and they got a solid team over there. They impressed me. I'll say that. Wemby, though, he's the defensive player of the year for a reason, man. This guy is absolutely dominant on both ends of the court. It's not going to be long before this guy's going to be winning MVPs and defensive player of the years in the same season. He is so good. Just incredibly fun to watch. The Spurs were the second best team in the league this year. They had a 62-20 record. Obviously that was behind the Thunder because they were the 1 seed in the West, but I just, you know, with Wemby being there, man, he's a generational talent. You know, we hear this every year, you know, generational talent. It seems like every draft class now has 2 or 3 of them, but this guy's a legit generational talent. I mean, this guy is legitimately changing the game, because how do you stop a guy that big, that's that athletic, that can shoot from 3, take you down low? He's blocking, you know, 8-10 shots a night, sometimes 12 blocks in a night. It's like, it's just crazy, dude. But Portland put up a good fight, man. I was pretty impressed with Portland. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I mean, a few shots go their direction. You're talking about another game 7 series.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen to fall their way. It seemed like that defense was too pertinent for the Spurs to allow these Trailblazers to come on in and win these games from them. They just found a way to, all right, we're going to make our stops where we have to. We're going to allow you guys to keep it close, because the Spurs, it just felt like, didn't mind. All right, you want to stay here close to us instead of having us blow you out? That's fine. We can beat you that way. We don't mind. However, we got to beat you, we're going to beat you. And that's exactly what they ended up doing was, all right, you want to keep it close? You want to stay on us? Okay, we're still going to find a way to win this thing. And that's exactly what they did. They just closed in these gaps. They made their margin of error over on the Trailblazers side too much, where if one shot didn't go in, it cost you. And that's exactly what ended up happening.
Yeah, I agree. Let's jump down to the 3 seed and 6 seed. So the Denver Nuggets were the 3 seed. Timberwolves were the 6 seed. Minnesota ended up winning this one 4-2. So this was kind of the major upset on the West side. Minnesota, man, they were resilient in this series. I said, that I was taking Denver in 7. I thought this would go 2-7. I also said that I thought Rudy Gobert, if he played defense like he's capable of playing on Jokic, they could win this series. But my prediction was Denver in 7. He played absolutely awesome against Nikola Jokic. He really shut him down. Jokic was still in a couple of games putting up like triple doubles, but he just wasn't as impactful as it. You look at the stat sheet, and you think like, oh man, he had a triple double. Like he had a really good game.
Yeah, you could tell that Nikola was getting upset because of the way he was getting played. Rudy was just on top of him. It got to the point where you could kind of see that his demeanor would change, that the way he was playing just completely changed. You could see how upset he was getting with just having Rudy on top of him. It just felt like he was killing it in these games, but there was no separation. Everything was hard fought, earned, and it was getting under the Joker's skin. You could tell, like, even after the press conference, it was just, all right, this is what we got to do better. This is what we got to do better. But you could tell he had that little bit of edge to him.
Yeah.
I honestly think that this is going to be a series that we're going to see happen multiple times in the future. And, if dunking the ball with no time left on the clock is any indication of how the series is going to go going forward, you're going to have a lot of scraps. You're going to have a lot of anger towards each other. And this is going to get even more and more ugly every time they play.
Yeah, this has already been kind of a yearly thing lately, that these two teams meeting up, and it's always great games. It's kind of a bitter rivalry at this point, and it's going to keep getting more and more heated. I agree with that. Yeah, I really thought that the Joker just kind of got shut down in this series. Like I said, even the games that he was playing really well and had a triple double in, he was not as impactful as he normally is. Dante DiVincenzo ended up tearing his Achilles in this round. His season's over. Hopefully he recovers from that well and comes back next year and plays. Anthony Edwards also hyperextended his knee in game 4, and yet the Timberwolves were still able to eliminate Denver, even missing two of their better players. A star player, and a really great player.
Anthony went out. What was it? The same exact game. Both of them ended up going out, and it felt like, all right, the shoe's about to drop. Now Denver's gonna take over this thing. And Io came out and said, "Nope, I'm gonna cover this for us. I'm gonna have the best game of my life, and it's gonna be in the playoffs."
Yeah, in that game, Io had 43 points off the bench, just crazy numbers. And then Terrence Shannon didn't play in the first 3 games, and then comes out and scores 24 points in a game 6 start. The guy hadn't even played really, and he comes out and just off the bench. To me, this felt like Denver was the better team overall, and especially like at the top, I felt like they were better, the top of the roster. But Minnesota was the deeper team, and they just had guys that just kept, like coming off the bench and just kept performing. And I really think it was their depth and their just like will to win. They just would not roll over and let Denver win this series. And it showed, and they ended up moving on, which is crazy. It does sound like Edwards is going to be back for round 2. Don't know yet. I think he's going to end up playing in game 1. I'm just going to say it. I do.
Yeah. I think from what it's coming out to is, it was like a hyperextension, but they're pretty much calling it like a knee bruise, right? So yeah. I feel like he's had a little bit more time to rest, and knowing the way he is, he's probably going to make a way for himself to play in this game.
Exactly. But yeah, that was a good series. I really, I thought it would go 7, but it still was a good series. It went 6 games. It was hard fought games. It was really fun to watch. The last one here is the 4 seed and 5 seed. So the LA Lakers were the 4 seed, and then the Houston Rockets were the 5 seed. So it's kind of weird series because, with Kevin Durant not playing, he played one game?
One game, yeah.
He played one game. And
then it was like he had a hurt ankle, then he had a hurt knee. And this is a guy who loves to play basketball. So right. I'm not going to take anything away from him and say, oh, he just didn't want to play. There was a bunch of hoopla about it. I think this guy really could not play. I think at the end of the day, that's exactly what this boils down to. He couldn't play. He was in some serious pain, and because he goes out and hoops no matter what if he can. So
yeah, he's not one of them to like load manage. So I really don't see this as, I agree with you. Like if he was able to play, I think he would have been out there. I think there's something going on with him. I think he's got some kind of lingering injury right now that they're, trying to take care of, and it's just not coming together because he played the one game. He didn't really look, incredibly healthy, and then he sat the rest of them. So But man, I want to talk about
and you wouldn't have any load management when it comes to a win or lose situation, and he would come off. So there had to have been something going on,
right? And that, I mean, like during the regular season, he's not one to load manage, so it seemed weird. Like I agree with you, like they were trying to say like, well, maybe he's just trying to get better for the rest of the round. No, he's not that kind of player. He's not going to sit out games 3 and 4 or 4 and 5 or whatever to get better for game 6. Like, no, he's going to want to go out there and win this thing in 4 or 5. You know, like he's that kind of guy.
Win it, and then I can rest once we've won it, you know, in a gentleman's sweep style.
Exactly.
But, I mean, I'm sure you were getting ready to talk about this before I cut you off, but we got to talk about the time turner over here. I mean, the guy must have been listening to some Cher or something, because he turned back time for sure.
I don't know how he's doing it, man. LeBron James, you know, it is really impressive what he's doing at this age. He's 41 years old. The guy's been in the league for 23 years now. He averaged 23 points, 23.2 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 8.3 assists in this series, man. He was absolutely electric. Still at that age, like, I don't know. I mean, honestly, the way he looks, man, he might play 4 or 5 more years. It's crazy. Like, he is absolutely, he's a great of all time. He really is. I'll give it to him.
Well, and he had no choice. He had to do that. He had to turn back time. I mean, Luka's gone and Reeves was out until game 5 in this series. So you have to go out and you have to give him the best. And man, he reminded me of LeBron, who was on the Cavaliers, or the LeBron that was on the Heatles. Like, he just took over games, and it was a good watch. Just sitting there watching it, you're in awe. Like, man, how old is this guy? Right. How long's he been doing this? Are you sure he's that old? Because it don't look like it.
It's super impressive. Like you said, Austin Reeves didn't come back till game 5, but he didn't look healthy coming back. Doncic, they still don't know if Luka's going to play next series or what. I don't know if he's going to. I think he's got a more serious injury than that. Hamstring, I think, is really causing him a lot of problems.
Yeah, I would almost, I mean, I don't want to give away my pick for this, but I would almost imagine he's not going to be playing until next year. Because the way this injury is, and their opponent that they've got is going to be really hard to take out with just Reeves and LeBron. I mean, you're talking about a team that is steamrolling people, steamrolling top teams in the NBA, making them look like this is NBA versus college. Like, it's not close in most of these games. They're just, we're here, we're better than you, and we'll show you here over 4 quarters. And SGA, man, like, I know you really didn't talk about it too much. Like, he is a superstar, but he takes over in the 4th quarter. I don't know what he does, but at some point there's a flip that gets switched. And once the 4th quarter starts, he goes, oh, all right, now it's my time to shine. I'm going to get 20 points now. I'm going to do whatever I want to do now. It's just my game. I'm waiting until I say, oh, I want to take it over. And that's exactly what he does. He waits to the very end. 4th quarter comes on, and then that flip switches, and it's the SGA show.
Yeah, no, he's like I said, he's the MVP for a reason, and possibly the 2-time, back-to-back as well. This Lakers series, Luke Kennard scored 50 points in the first 2 Lakers wins here. I mean, he really played. This was really a series where I thought the role players really showed up. DeAndre Ayton, man, the guy's had some down years in the NBA, but he looked like DeAndre Ayton coming out of Arizona again. Like, this guy looked absolutely dominant on the boards. He was scoring a bunch of points down low. LeBron was just feeding him down low. Like, it looked really fun to watch. This team, they're not, I feel like they're not super deep, but they're just deep enough to cause some problems in the playoffs, But this Houston team, I'm kind of excited to see what happens in the offseason, because I think there's a lot of drama going on over there. I think there's just, I think KD's probably out of there after this. I think they really need a leader to step in there and kind of fill the void, because I feel like they have a ton of young talent. It's one of those things where it's like they just need the right veteran in there that can really, take this team over the top, because they've got a ton of talent, but it just didn't pan out this year. So that kind of wraps up the first round, how all the games went. Let's jump into the second round. Let's take a look at some of these matchups. So on the East side, we're going to have the Pistons at the 1 seed versus the 4 seed Cavaliers. And then the 3 seed Knicks versus the 7 seed 76ers. And then on the west side, we're going to have the 1 seed Thunder versus the 4 seed Lakers, and the 2 seed Spurs versus the 6 seed Timberwolves. So let's start off with that 1 seed versus 4 seed, the Detroit Pistons and the Cleveland Cavaliers. What are your thoughts on this round? I think, like we said earlier, this is the first time since 2008 that Detroit's moved on past the first round. It's kind of a big deal for that franchise, pretty historical franchise. I think the matchup here to really watch is Cade Cunningham and Donovan Mitchell. Like, we got 2 star caliber guards going at it, and I think this is going to be a really fun series to watch. Both of them went 7 games in the first round, so might kind of see fatigue be a little bit of a factor in this one. I don't know. I mean, these guys are professional athletes, so I don't ever know how fatigue's going to matter or not, but I think this is going to be a really fun matchup, man. What do you think?
I think this one's going to be exciting. I do think the fatigue is probably going to hit the Cavaliers a lot worse than it's going to hit the Pistons. And my only reason to say that is it felt like the Cavaliers series was a lot more tight-knit, and it felt like the Pistons took forever to find themselves. And then once they finally did, that was when they started rolling, went on to win 3 straight. I think the unfortunate thing for the Cavaliers on this is you're getting a Pistons team that now won a series that they probably shouldn't have won. They found some belief, and they found what works. And Cade Cunningham started getting hot. That's a very, very bad recipe for disaster for you guys, because honestly, I think you guys would have been better off playing against the Magic. I think you guys would have had a little easier go playing in the tournament against a team that wasn't the Pistons. I mean, this Pistons team has been youthful. They've been young. They're talked about as the number 1 seed, the promised kid, but they're here a little early. Well, you win a series, and now you have all this belief where, okay, we pushed that one a little close, but we've got this one. And I mean, I feel like they're both really young, so I don't really feel like it's going to be too much fatigue. It's just going to be a matter of that rust versus experience, right? And I feel like the experience now has come through for this Pistons team, where they've locked in the belief in that locker room. We can be down 3-1. We can do whatever we need to do, and we'll find a way to win games. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is going to be a really fun series. I'm taking Detroit in this one. I think it's probably going to go 6 games, possibly 7. I think this Cavs team is really good, but I think I'm going to take Detroit. Watching the first round, when Orlando was up 3-1, I thought, Detroit's done. Orlando, was looking really tough to beat, and it was like, man, this Orlando team might upset someone in the second round as well. But like you said, the resilience that they showed to get back into that series and win it, I think it kind of showed why they were the number 1 seed in the East. So I'm going to take the Pistons here. I'm taking them in 6 games. I could see it going 7, but I'm going to say it's a 6-game series, and the Pistons win it.
I agree with you. I think I'm hoping it goes to 7, because I'd like the treat of another game 7 here, but I think this one gets closed out by 6.
Yeah. Let's jump down to the Knicks versus the 76ers. This is going to be a really fun series, I think. The 76ers team is a lot better than people were thinking.
I mean, I had the Celtics picked to beat them, and then the 76ers come out and said, not so fast, hold my beer, watch this. And they sure did. They put on a show, and I don't feel like the 76ers team is going to go anywhere without a fight. So this one's going to be a really, really fun series.
Yeah, and this is kind of a classic rivalry. I mean, the Knicks and Sixers, 2 years ago, the Knicks beat the Sixers in 6 games, and I feel like Philly's going to really want to get revenge on that. This is going to be a fun series. A lot of superstars here. Hopefully Joel Embiid gets to play in this series. I know he's still battling with some injuries and stuff, but Karl Anthony Towns versus Joel Embiid, that's going to be really fun to see. Jalen Brunson versus Tyrese Maxey, a bunch of star power there. A really, really good series. VJ Edgecombe, really coming alive here. He had a really good rookie year, and he does not look like a rookie in these playoffs, you guys. He looks like a seasoned vet. So, again, like I said, the whole don't sell your tickets to Knicks fans, Joel Embiid, I think that's really gonna spark the 76ers here. I think this is gonna be a really fun series to watch. The one thing I will say though is the Knicks do look like, again, like I said earlier, they look like the most consistent, the most established team in the East. I'm really excited to see what the Knicks are able to do here. During the regular season, they split 2-2. Philly won the 2 early games, and then the Knicks won the later 2. So, what's your take on this one? Who are you taking here?
For this series, I honestly think this one's going to go to 7. I think either way you split it, it's going to go to a game 7. Both of these teams match up against each other very well. As long as health stays out of this and people stay uninjured, I have to give the edge to the 76ers. I think they just took out what was supposed to be the finals representative. They have this belief. They're young. They have all the talent in the world. I feel like they find a way to knock these Knicks out.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of surprised because I thought I was going to be alone on this one, but I think I'm taking the 76ers as well. They really showed me something in that first round. I'm going to agree with you. I think seven games, and I think the Sixers take this one. I wouldn't have said that going into the playoffs because I really thought they were going to get overpowered by the Celtics, but they really proved me wrong, and I think they really have something to fight for here. So I'm going to agree with you on that one. I'm going to take 7 games, Sixers win, and move on. That's going to be really fun to watch, though. I mean, think about that. That would be the 76ers and the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals. That'd be a really fun one. Let's jump over to the West real quick. We got the Oklahoma City Thunder and the LA Lakers. This is kind of like the marquee matchup here. If if you're looking at probably ratings and stuff, the Thunder have a great following right now because of the winning the championship last year and Shai being the player he is, and then going up against LeBron James. So this one, I think this is going to be a really good, fun series to watch. It's going to be loud. That place is going to be electric. Both sides, when they're in LA, when they're in Oklahoma City. The Thunder went 4-0 against the Lakers in the regular season. Like we said, they had a really dominant regular season. So SGA, he's the front runner for the MVP right now. They swept through the first round, and I'm not going to lie to you on this one. I have a feeling this one's going to be a gentleman's sweep, and I think the Thunder are going to take them out. I think LeBron's absolutely going to get at least one game. I could even see it going to 6, and he gets 2 of them. But
I'll say this now: the only way it goes to 6 is they have to split one of the 2 in Oklahoma first.
Yes.
Otherwise, this is going to be a gentleman's sweep, and it's not going to be pretty.
I agree with that, but I don't know if I hate to say it because I think LeBron, he's still got a lot left in him, but I just don't know if he's got enough talent around him at this point to keep pace with this Thunder team, especially if Luka doesn't come back and play. It's going to really hurt him, you guys. I'm taking the Thunder in 5 here.
Well, and Reeves has got to get himself going at a higher clip than what he was. I mean, you need everything to be clicking in order to take these guys out. It's going to be really tough. I mean,
right.
If the Lakers are going to pull this off, it's going to be to 7. It's going to be the race to 7. I just think this is going to be a gentleman's sweep. I have a feeling that the Lakers are going to get one in LA.
Yeah,
but I just don't see them. I don't see them taking one in Oklahoma. So you're talking about that's 3 games at least within 1, 2 are going to be in Oklahoma, and 5. That's 3 that Oklahoma's going to get. I think Oklahoma could honestly sweep Lakers in LA and just be just a complete sweep. But I have to give LeBron that credit. He's going to find a way to will his team to win. He's going to do LeBron things. And we're going to go, holy crap, this guy just took over a whole game again. Look at him go. And it's going to be a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah, I agree. Game 1 will be his 299th career playoff game. So that's the most in NBA history by far. I mean, it's been really impressive to watch his career, but I just don't see anything really that worries me, I guess. I hate to say it that way, but I just don't see it. So I'm taking the Thunder in a gentleman's sweep. The last one here is the San Antonio Spurs versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. This one's kind of like the big Frenchman showdown here. We got Rudy Gobert versus Victor Wembanyama. Kind of a little fun fact here. Gobert has actually been mentoring Wembanyama since he was in high school, and now they get a chance to battle each other to go to the conference finals. So it's going to be kind of a fun matchup there. It's going to be fun to see how those 2 match up against each other, and I bet you we're going to see some really, really, grinded out type basketball played. I think those 2 are really going to go at each other and push each other hard. Again, Wembanyama won the Defensive Player of the Year, but the guy is he's absolutely dominant on both sides of the ball. Minnesota has made it to back-to-back Western Conference Finals in the past 2 years. So they definitely have a playoff DNA. Like this team is very capable of getting past this Spurs team. DiVincenzo being out for the rest of the year is going to really hurt. But if Edwards does find a way to come back and play, I think that does really change this series. And the way Jaden Daniels has been playing, this might be a really fun one. I think this might be the funnest matchup of the second round. I'll just say it right now. I'm taking the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm taking them in 7. I don't know why. I just have a feeling the way they played against Denver, the way they Rudy Gobert was able to really get into Jokic's mind and just really shut him down. Not shut him down because he still put up crazy stats, but he made him not
agitated
effective.
the crap out of him and made him play off-brand basketball, and it's exactly what ended up happening is he played off-brand, and that was what cost them to lose. Was
right,
because he would have had better stats had he just continued the pace that he was keeping, but he would have these fluky quarters where just you could tell something was not jiving, or even these arid, like normally he's really crisp at getting himself some really good assists and rebounds, and it just was not happening because he's constantly looking over his shoulder like, man, this guy's on me, draped on me like a cape.
Yeah. What's your pick there? What are you taking?
I mean, honestly, I think this one's going to depend on whether Anthony Edwards is healthy. I believe that he'll come out and he'll find a way to play game 1. So with that said, I think that they're going to force a game 7 against the Spurs.
Yeah, I think it's going to go 7.
I think it's going to be the fun series to watch, like you said. My pick for this one, I have to go with the T-Wolves. I feel like they have that kind of dog, that tenacity in them, where they're just going to find a way. They're going to will their team to win, just like they did in Denver. They don't care who they're playing against. They're just a mean, gritty team. They're deep. We can hang with anybody, and we know we can, and that's a really hard belief to kill. But Wemby is such a good talent. I would not be surprised if the Spurs win this, but I am picking the T-Wolves.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking the T-Wolves in 7. They just showed me something in that first round that they just feel very resilient. They're not going to roll over. They are not going to. It just feels like they're just not going to lose. Like they're just not going to. So we agree on each team. So let's go back here and look. So we have the Thunder going to the Western Conference Finals versus the Timberwolves, and we have the Pistons going against the 76ers. So what's your picks there? What do you think is going to happen on the East side, Pistons and 76ers?
If it becomes that kind of matchup, I honestly think that the 76ers are going to end up winning that series. I think the Sixers are going to go, and I believe that they're going to be facing off against the Thunder. That Thunder team is going to be too hard to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to think, but honestly, who's going to stop that Thunder team? And the 76ers, as long as they stay healthy, I really feel like this team could make some serious waves in that Eastern Conference Finals and put away the Pistons, who's our young team with good belief, but they're going to get punched in the mouth, and the 76ers only have the future to look forward to because you're going from, I think, a year early. I feel like this mirrors the NFL almost exactly, where you have the Patriots, where it's just they got healthy at the right time, they kind of hit some good luck, and they're going to get further than anyone thought, a year earlier than everyone thought. And it's going to be very interesting to see how that belief that getting there affects this 76ers team and then where they go from here.
I want to agree with you on the East side, but man, I think I'm going to have to take the Pistons there. I really want to see the 76ers team go, but I agree. I think it's just kind of a year early. I think they're already kind of further than anyone expected. I would really love to see them win that Eastern matchup and go to the finals, but I just kind of feel like with the Pistons, the way they came back in that first round, they look really strong now. They weren't in the first couple of games. They looked pretty weak, but they look really strong now. And so I'm kind of a little leery about picking against them at this point. So I'm going to take the Pistons in that one, but I'm going to take it to go to game 7. I think the 76ers team is way better than people are expecting or were expecting coming into this point. On the West side, though, what are you thinking there? We've got the Timberwolves and the Thunder.
I've got the Thunder winning this. It's maybe a game 6.
Maybe a game 6.
I mean, this Thunder team is just, they are that kind of juggernaut. Honestly, I would not be surprised at all if this is a gentleman's sweep. I feel like it's going to be at least a game 6 because I think the tenacity of the T-Wolves is going to be there, but the Thunder is who I've got winning. Hands down, they're head and shoulders above everyone else in the NBA right now, and I think it's going to show.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the injuries are going to be really hard to overcome against the Thunder. This Thunder team is just so good, man. They are so good, and they are super fun to watch. I would like to see the Timberwolves go. Same thing kind of on the west or the east side. I'd love to see the Timberwolves win it, but I just don't see it happening. I think this Thunder team is going to win it. And I'll tell you right now, I think the Thunder are going to win the NBA Finals over the Pistons in probably 5 to 6 games. I think they're going to really walk through this playoffs. I don't know why, but I just do. They just look way overpowering. So my pick is still the Thunder to win it all. I have them against the Pistons. What are you thinking there for the finals?
Like I said, it's going to be Thunder all the way for me over the 76ers. Heck, I mean, really against anybody at this point. The Thunder's just going to be, honestly, if you're a team that doesn't get gentlemen swept by them, that's going to be kudos to you more than anything else, because I just don't feel like anybody can hang with these guys the way, like, I mean, heck, the Pacers did last year. I feel like this Thunder team really has come to their own, and they're just going to be unstoppable. They are unstoppable. Watching them is just, like I said, it's like watching varsity beat up on freshmen. It's just not, it's not fun most of the time because
right.
It's like they keep it close, and then all of a sudden SGA will just take over the fourth, and then it's over. Curtain call, you're done. Too bad, so sad.
Yeah, it is. I don't want to say it's not fun to watch because it has been fun to watch them kind of build this dynasty, but it is. The games are kind of boring because it's just by halftime it's like, yeah, they're probably done here.
Well, I mean, like every game that they're going into, it's like, hey, they're minus 15, minus 13, minus 12. You don't ever get that usually in NBA because it's just so people go on runs. But this team's found a way to just close the door and lock it, and they don't care. So they end up getting towards the end of the game, 10-point lead, 15-point lead, 20-point lead. They just win by that margin all the time. It doesn't matter who they're playing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Something kind of fun I thought of we should do here. I know the NBA doesn't do this. They do like the NBA Finals MVP, but they don't do like a Conn Smythe from the NHL. But at this point into the playoffs, who would be kind of if they did like a Conn Smythe award? Who do you think the MVP of the playoffs is so far? Just something kind of fun here to kind of throw out there. Do you think it's Shai, or do you think it's LeBron? Carrying a team at 41 years old, or what are your thoughts there? Just something kind of fun to do.
Honestly, I mean, LeBron's a great storyline, but this isn't a storyline award. This is who's the best player on the court.
Right.
And SGA is the best player on the court. Hands down, that's it, period, the end.
Yeah. Okay. And I agree with you that he is the best player on the court, but I think I'm going to throw a little, wrinkle here. And I think I'm going to say Cade Cunningham leading his team back the way he did so far, 7 games. Obviously his stats will be better than Shai's at this point just because of playing 7 games to 4 games. But I think he's really shown that he can really elevate this team, and he's really a superstar that we thought he was going to be when he got drafted. So I think I would pick Cade Cunningham there at this point.
Honestly. I mean, honestly, so I feel your point with the stats and whatnot, but he had to lead your team back when he should have handled these boys in the beginning. He was the number 1 seed. SGA, he knows what he's about, and it's exactly what he did. He swept the team that he was supposed to sweep. He didn't give him another chance. He didn't give him some hope. He didn't let him get up 3-1 on him. And then Cade Cunningham had to come out of the closet and say, "Okay, Daddy's here. I'm going to put some damage on you guys and and put you guys out of your misery." It was SGA came from the very jump and said, "Hey, this is my championship to lose, and you're going to feel my presence right out the gate."
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I think that's a good point. Like I said, his stats obviously will be better just because he's played 7 games to 4 games at this point. But I do think he is really showing us something here. I think Cade has really come alive, and it's going to be really good for that Pistons team to finally do something. They finally get into the second round since what did I say earlier? 2008.
2008. Yep.
So I mean, that's really good for them that they're able to finally have this young team, this young core that they've put together over the years, and really start doing something with it. So I just thought it'd be kind of a fun, like I said, the NBA doesn't do anything like that, so it'd be kind of entertaining to do. But that's a wrap for us, guys. Second round, by the time you guys see this, second round will already be going. So make sure you guys are watching the games. These are going to be really fun matchups. If you guys are liking this content, make sure you guys like our videos, give us comments, let us know your thoughts, who you think's going to win it all, who you think's going to win each of these matchups. And then make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and then check us out on the other social media platforms, because we do a lot of short content on other platforms, and we tend to go. We're starting to go live over on TikTok, so check those out as well. We had a lot of fun with it. We did an NFL draft one, and it turned out really well. So we're talking about doing the NBA draft, trying to do that. Just future things we want to get more involved in. And then, like I say all the time, guys, if you guys are liking it, just please make sure you're subscribing. It helps us out a lot. We love doing this for you guys. This is what we do all day, every day, is just talk sports and watch games. So it's just fun to build this community. You guys have been really awesome, showing a lot of support. So let's keep that up, and let's keep growing this thing. And other than that, make sure you're watching this second round. It's going to be a really fun one to watch. So thanks, guys, for watching. We appreciate it, and have a good night.
Thanks. 105. Peace.